Serious, Redditors, what are your hobbies? What do you really get joy from after work or on the weekends, etc.? Gaming. When I was 14, all of my friends decided to dump me. I spent my freshman year of high school alone. My dad noticed this, but could tell I didn't want to talk about it. So he bought me a cassette 4-track. I spent the next 3 years recording my own terrible music in my room. Eventually I joined bands, moved to college, met other home recorders, played shows, made friends, had adventures, put out records, got press, met strangers who knew my band. That old Tascam taught me creativity and problem solving. I became better at my craft and became a more confident, well-rounded person because of it. My current band is recording its 4th LP. We're on a small label that we respect and get to play with touring bands that we like. It's small potatoes, but I am satisfied just the same. Edit. Thanks for the interest. Here's a link to our most recent record. http Bandcamp. album Geocities. Edit 2. Thank you all so much for your kind words and downloads. We've had that Bandcamp account for years, and doubled our all-time plays in 6 hours. We've never had this kind of exposure. You are all rad. Walks while listening to music. At 3 to 5 AM. I am what I like to call a serial hobbyist. I try a lot of different things, and the ones I like the most tend to resurface in a sort of interest cycle. Here are the ones I'm currently pursuing. Piano, barbershop singing, shooting, PC gaming, fitness, running, lifting, Magic the Gathering, volleyball. Others that I've done in the past include archery, guitar, writing, cooking, biking, robotics, Android development, photography. Yeah. Don't be like me. It's expensive. Edit. Forgot a few. I like sea kayaking in a very gentle way because I'm not very fit. I bought my own equipment and gear and I've seen some incredible things as a result. Seals popping their heads up as you paddle past heart attack territory. A pod of pilot whales blowing air beside me. Exploring small islands that hardly anyone gets to visit. I had a tough couple of years personally and I often feel like a boiler whose pilot light has gone out. But there's something about being out on the water that brings an unmatchable calm to my soul. Playing the piano. After a hard day's work, I just like sitting at the keyboard for an hour or so and just relaxing. And having a bit of fun. Edit. Somebody gave me gold. For this? How odd. Thank you. Reading a good book on your bed or in a park. I always used to hate reading as a kid. That's because I was reading the wrong books. It sounds lame but it can transport you into a world someone else created and you manifest in your mind. Playing soccer. Disc golf. Inexpensive, challenging, and an outdoor activity. Discovering new music. Writing. The process itself is kind of therapeutic. A way to sort your thoughts out, and knowing that someone reads and enjoys what you've written makes it all the better. Just being alone. I get called out for this. But I just like a quiet and isolated environment to watch Netflix, games, sleep, etc. Doesn't mean I hate company or hanging out with friends. I just want some alone time. Photography. It's a relatively easy hobby, and when you take pictures it usually means you've never been to that specific place before. Keeps things fresh and new. Cycling. It's honestly one of the few things that can clear my head. I can forget about work, bills, relationships, my future. Mainly because I'm either in a lot of pain, or I'm admiring a view, or planning out my lines to safely ride down a mountain pass and not off it. I like to design my own college football helmets. Here is some of my work. http www.flickr.com photos/92,698,014 at n02. Amateur astronomy and astrophotography. I honestly look forward to finishing a long, tough day of whatever just to come home to my telescopes. Have silent thought conversations with all the beautiful objects in the sky. The moon is so much more beautiful when you've seen her up close. And no matter how many times I've seen it, I still flip out every time my eyepiece finds Saturn. It's so worth the sleep deprivation lol. Just really adds to my quality of life, and it's really humbling too. Gives you an interesting perspective of your significance and how inconsequential many of your problems really are. I like to trail run. Running in general helps me relax, but trail running and being somewhere quiet and non-overflowing with other runners always feels fantastic, and even after 20 miles in the hills, I'm still smiling afterwards. The other thing that levels me out is paddle boarding out at sea. Again, where it's quiet and not many other people around. I guess being out and in nature is my overall hobby. Being stuck in an office all day drives me crazy. I love playing the piano. The only annoying part is starting a new piece and thinking that it's impossible. Piano also opened me to the whole world of classical music, which is quite amazing actually. Brewing beer. On my 4th batch now. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It's great to exercise, be a part of a club, and improve at a skill. Playing guitar. I moved and had to leave my guitar behind. It took me like 4 months of feeling shitty to realize it was because I missed playing and singing and writing and being a creative human. In the summer I putter around in a small vegetable garden. This year I'm growing string beans, potatoes, and carrots. I'm just starting to harvest now. Picked almost 3 pounds of beans last weekend. I also work on restoring antique cars. I do a lot of the work myself, and although very frustrating by times, I find it really rewarding when the car is complete. Once it's done, I usually keep the car for a year or 2 to drive on nice days in the summer and then sell it and start looking for my next project car. Playing my bass guitar. Knitting and kayaking. Jumping out of airplanes. I ride horses. No, I'm not rich, I wish. I actively train and compete and am out at the barn 5 days out of the week. It is something that takes me out of my own life. Even for a little bit. When you ride you have to be completely in the moment. You can't think about your work or your stresses. You just have to ride. Plus nothing beats a good gallop on a gorgeous day with your friends. I love to hunt. To be in a tree stand pre-dawn and watch the woods wake up around you. I've been inches away from various birds, porcupines, deer, and other animals. The roller coaster of emotions when you bag a deer are incomparable to anything else. I'm also eating venison chili right now. Hydroponics. Chess and Go. I enjoy listening and sometimes making electronic music. There's something about it that I just can't get enough of. Whether I'm out at a club, in my living room, in the car, or getting ready in the morning, I am always listening to music. I also enjoy racking up karma on this weird website. Other people play video games and get imaginary points. I get my imaginary points here. Urban exploration. Finding a rarely seen building or location that's been untouched for decades is euphoric, especially when you find a place with old items or newspapers from the time in perfect condition and the light is hitting the room just right to give it that age look. Just being an observer to these places is awesome. Also, running is nice. Once you get over the 2-3 week pain of breaking in your body, you'll find running keeps you fit while giving you time to just reflect or plan. Or just distract. Bourbon and mindfuck movies. I rock climb. The only time I feel really alive is when I'm hundreds of feet off the ground, mostly because you can't think about anything else. Playing basketball. I've been playing for 12 seasons now and I'm actually starting to see myself how good I can be. I'm usually my worst critic after a game, but I can see when I've played a good game now. Also, the leadership and teamwork skills I've learned from that sport I don't think I could gain anywhere else in life. Leathercraft. I cannot describe how relaxing it is to work on a project and see it to completion. There are so many little steps to take. I dunno. I love the process of designing and creating. Plus the leather smells awesome. http //asdemluden deviantart Comart Ocular Enhancer Steampunk Goggles 378,029,891 http //asdemluden deviantart Comart Steampunk Bracer Mark III 348,360,506 http //asdemluden deviantart Comart Steampunk Bracer and Gauntlet Mark II 345,356,797 http //asdemluden deviantart Comart Alchemist Belt 370,779,501 http //asdemluden deviantart Comart My Personal Bag 362,334,618 http //asdemluden deviantart Comart Small Stoned Oil Leather Satchel 359,923,314 http //asdemluden deviantart Comart Image 358,461,483 http //asdemluden deviantart Comart Ocular Enhancer Steampunk Goggles 378,029,891 http //asdemluden Fishing and drinking whiskey beer. You can get a pretty decent starting spinning reel rod and some basic lures and bait for under $200. And I thoroughly enjoy trying new beers and whiskeys. On a clear night I like to just sit and watch the stars. Motorcycling. Wish I was good enough to do it for a living. Stroke. LARP gaming. Real tabletop and computer. I knit and crochet as hobbies. I love finishing projects. But it's even nicer when you make something on a whim and have it finished in the same weekend. Programming. Right now, I'm making a game and it is the most fun I've had in a long time.